Alright, by this point, we all know there are good and bad people in every community. It just happens. In the past, I've talked a lot about the best car people and awkwardly twice as much about the worst car people, and I really should even that out. But beyond how annoying the car world can be, you know what else can be annoying? The world.
The prophecy is true.
Well, today, to almost kind of shift things, we're going to go over 5 of the worst non-car people that us car people have to deal with a little more often than we'd like. Let's get into it. Before getting started, if you haven't seen any of the other Car Guy videos, check those out after if you enjoyed this one, and keep in mind that none of this is made with me thinking I'm perfect and above all others. The best Car Guy videos are genuine, but these worst person videos are mostly to share some funny stories in hopes that I'll get to hear some of yours. Toss any good, bad, funny, or awkward stories you have about these people or others in the comments, or send them to me over Instagram. I mentioned this last video, I'm considering doing a reaction video to funny car stories, but I gotta make sure I have enough, so if you've got good ones, make sure to put them down there. Also, check out Liberty Drive's merch in case there's anything you'd like, and if not, let me know what you want to see. First up, without wasting any more time, is the angry biker guy, and this one comes with a story. At a really fun but still civilized Cars and Coffee my group goes to, people were hanging out by the exit as cars left, and there was a cop helping direct everyone. I also want to point out that the lawn fills up fast, so a lot of people park on the side of the road. Not just common cars either, but that time there were at least 3 AMG GTs, a GTR or 2, and a 570S, among other things. You know, the type of stuff that makes you really think about how you could make some extra cash. Anyway, there were lots of cars parked on the road, which is more than wide enough for it. As we're watching people leave, some guy on a bike goes by and yells to the cop, "There's people parked in the bike lane," which pretty much left everybody else like,
Oh no. Anyway, last week...
What did he really expect the cop to do though? Like just end the meet right there, get everybody off the road and have them all go home? I guess I can sort of understand how it could be annoying going for some nice bike ride and all of a sudden there's this big event you have to go through, but stuff happens, and like I said, it's very organized anyway. There's some huge bike race through my town like once a year where the roads become barely usable, but you don't see drivers going by those people yelling at them and the cops. Another small pet peeve is when a biker takes up just as much room as possible on the road when there are cars clearly waiting to go by both ways, but I guess that's just a random side note. Next up is the person who's like, "Nobody needs a car like that." I personally haven't run into one of these, possibly because I don't have a $100,000 car, but I have seen and heard a couple stories about him. For anyone who knows who Dave Ramsey is, I feel like he sums up the counter argument to these people really well.
You're stupid.
And beyond that, he says how, no, nobody needs a $100,000 car. But for the people who make crazy amounts of money every year, them buying that car is the same as them buying a biscuit. That's what he says. It might be a slight exaggeration, because if we use an average salary of $56K and $3 for the price of Pillsbury biscuits, then this rich person would have to make just under $1.9 billion every year. Knowing how rich he is and how he talks about the mega rich people that he knows, though, it wouldn't surprise me too much if that was at least almost accurate. Third for today is that neighbor, and unfortunately a lot of you guys probably already know what I'm talking about, but it's those people who like to see that you're having fun with friends or while driving just so they can threaten to call the cops on you. When I was 16, my friends and I were learning manual in one of my friend's early 2000s 400,000 mile Jetta wagon. My neighborhood's pretty small and quiet and everybody keeps to themselves, so we mostly tried to stay in front of my house. We all kept the speed under like 20 miles an hour, the rest of us stood and just talked in the driveway, and everything was very chill. At one point, I go to take a turn and I drive down sort of between 2 of my neighbors' houses, and as I go to turn the car around, I hear somebody go, "Hey," and I notice my like 40-year-old neighbor stomping towards the road. He's obviously pissed and starts yelling like, "This is ridiculous, that's enough, you've been driving up and down the road 50 times, knock it off or I'm calling the police." Being 16 and even less confrontational than I am now, and overall pretty shocked about how pissed he was, I was just kind of like, okay? And for a while, I was kind of annoyed I didn't hit him back with something good like, "Shut up, stupid," or like, you know, a toaster. But I just drove back and told my friends what happened. So that was weird and kind of annoying, but to play devil's advocate, he didn't know we were learning manual, and who knows if he even recognized me as his neighbor. Fast forward years later, there's another small incident though. At like 5 p.m., I waited for a few minutes at the end of my street in my car for my friend to drive by because he lives close and we like to have our 2-car convoy sometimes. We really do just cruise when we do it though, and I purposefully stay quiet when I leave the street because it's not worth the problem to me. Anyway, we went to our friend's house. I got home at like midnight, and for some reason I had to wake up at like 8ish the next day. I don't remember why. I walk out to my car that morning and I see a piece of paper under the windshield wiper. It says, and I quote in all bold and underline, "Dear driver, it's time for you to stop racing around here. This is annoying. If you persist," very official wording there, "the police department will get involved with you." To which I say they should at least take me out to dinner first. My first thought was that it was the same guy, but my other neighbors who it could have been have a son who's a cop, so I'm really not sure. It wasn't even the fact that they were bothered by my non-aggressive driving either, but that they didn't say who they were like they were being slick, and they came up the driveway either past midnight or wicked early, which was creepy to me. It probably would have bugged me like half as much if they just put it in the mailbox. Even if I knew who it was, I'm not trying to say I would have turned it into some huge thing and acted like a tough guy, but just grow up about it. And don't touch my car like that. For a little, it made me want to sit in the front lawn, and every time somebody went by, even some little girl riding her bicycle, I'd be like, "I'm warning you!" Number 4 is the drunk drivers, and yes, this includes the ones only driving 15 minutes and saying, "I'm fine, I'm good." This really speaks for itself, and thankfully, I don't have too many stories besides a couple guys I know occasionally talking about this in a really dumb way, but just don't do it. I feel like I don't have to explain why not to, and anyone who's completely convinced that it's not a big deal, this won't really make a difference, I guess. But I feel like all we can try to do is have it become socially unacceptable enough that people won't want to do it. I know a lot of times people think, well, I'm only a little tipsy, or like, what else am I gonna do? Call somebody? And similar to other things like weaving in traffic, driving like 25 over the speed limit, or texting and driving, nothing bad has come from that situation for some people before, so they can't imagine anything coming from it, so they think nothing will ever come from it, if that makes sense. But in reality, this stuff happens, and something I like to do when I'm going around a turn or in traffic and I get an urge to punch the gas just to be a little loud, or I'm not going any slower in the snow, is take 3 seconds to just ask, is it worth it? Is going a little bit faster to get there a few minutes earlier or ignoring the weather conditions really worth potentially crashing, maybe hurting someone including yourself, and having to get a new car and have your insurance jacked up? If you're on a narrow road and you don't have a lot of experience handling your car when the back end loses grip, it's probably not a great idea to start trying to drift there. It seems like a lot of people liked this motto I think I came up with. If you're gonna do something stupid, do it in a smart way. I haven't heard anybody else say that, and I didn't even see anything when I Googled it, so we might be seeing a Liberty Drives t-shirt of that sometime soon. Who knows? The final worst non-car guy is the crappy employee. For people who aren't great at their job, this isn't directed towards that person, as much as it's just kind of about the experience. My girlfriend and I went to AutoZone a couple months back, and she needed a rear windshield wiper. AutoZone, no hate to you guys, still a big fan of the company and most of your employees. But after they got us the wiper, bagged it, gave it to us, and we got back to her house, we realized they gave us a front windshield wiper blade for a completely different car. Bruh. So they were nice, accidents happen, and everybody learns somehow. I'm not knocking the fact that they might not have known, but that experience kind of just stinks. The people I will go after are the ones who on any given day are an asshole and aren't helpful on top of that. Years ago, my friend and I needed a certain diameter throttle body for the DIY exhaust cutout I talked about in my DIY mod video. We called the junkyard first and asked if they had one, and the guy did not listen at all. The conversation was like, "Hi, we're looking for a 2 to 3 inch diameter throttle body. Do you guys have something that might work? Oh, what car is it for? We don't actually need it as a replacement part, so we don't have a car. We just need one that's about that size. I can see if we have one if you tell me the car model. What's the model?" And it went like back and forth like that a couple more times. Eventually, we just said never mind and looked at their website. On there, they had a whole separate section that said pick your own parts, and that they let you take parts off yourself, so we decided to go. When we got there, we asked the guy at the front desk about the pick your own and told him what we were looking for, and all of of a sudden, some guy behind him interrupts us and is like, yeah, I already talked to them on the phone. I told them if they want a part, we need to know the model. They're not just gonna go back there and do whatever. So at that point, we just left and went to a different junkyard where they told us it was totally fine, where to go, to not get attacked by the family of foxes there, and that if we go past the public area, we might get shot. They were really great there, and next time I need anything, I'm absolutely going back. I'm also realizing, what were they even advertising on the website then if they were saying pick your own? Normally the good part of pick your own is that you get to go around to the cars, look at what you need, and take what you think you need, and then pay for it. But if they're gonna only let you take one very specific thing, then there's not really even any benefit of the pick your own. The way that they were doing it, it's pretty much the same as taking it off the shelf, but they're saying, well, you've got to do the work yourself, and you don't get to look around at anything. So I don't really know what the benefit of that would be. There you guys have it. Those are 5 of the worst non-car guys out there. Let me know if you've run into people like this, or if you've got any other good stories. I honestly love hearing them. Like I said, please feel free to put any questions in the comments or send them to me over Instagram. Sorry to everyone following the Liberty V8's page, by the way. I know it's been a long time since I've posted, but I'm gonna try to get back to at least one up a week. As always, I really appreciate all of you guys. Thank you very much for watching and for the support. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great day.